everyone, I'm Flo, Duty's behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. We are making stir-fried green beans with pork today, and it is the best way to eat green beans. This recipe can be found in my cookbook, Chinese Homestyle. However, I am upgrading it a little bit and adding a little bit more flavor, but that will be the basic recipe. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe for more simple food ideas. I have about a pound of green beans, and I have already removed the tips, and I'm going to cut them down to about 3-inch pieces, which is basically cut them in half. All right, that's quite a bit of green beans, and I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I'm just going to chop up. And of course, you can use as little or as much garlic as you'd like. And I prefer chopping it up versus using a garlic press. I'm also using a small piece of ginger that I'm going to grate because I can't chop it up as finely as I like it. And it'll give you about 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon. And again, with the ginger, just use as much or as little as you'd like. Next, we're moving on to the sauce. I have half a teaspoon of sugar already in the bowl, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing wine. Shaoxing wine is just like a cooking sherry, cooking rice wine. If you don't have Shaoxing wine, you can use regular rice wine, or we've been known to use bourbon, just something to add that depth of flavor. And if you don't have it, just don't even bother. And I'm also adding 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce. And oyster sauce is going to also give it depth of flavor, and a teaspoon of dark soy sauce for color. Dark soy is not as salty as regular soy sauce or light soy sauce. So every ingredient has its role. But if you don't have all of the ingredients, you can always substitute. But there are some that I'm like, well, you have to add a little bit of depth of flavor and not just rely on the soy sauce. If you just rely on soy sauce, it's just not going to give it the extra that you may want. So check out my basic sauces video, and I explain all the different sauces that you should have on hand to make basic Chinese food at home, because this is one of those dishes that we love ordering in the restaurants, but if you have the basic sauces at home, you can do it at home. All right, we're gonna get started. I have my wok here, setting the heat to a medium high. And if you don't have a wok, you can use a large frying pan, and we're just going to get started. I like using the wok because I can mix my ingredients very easily, but again, just use a large frying pan. Adding about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, or an oil that has a high cooking temp. Like canola, vegetable, peanut oil are all good options. And getting my green beans in there. Turning my heat down a little bit because cooking at home is not the same as cooking in the restaurants, where they will have really high temperatures where they can get all the blistering on the green beans, which is kind of happening here a little bit. But we're just gonna cook it at home and not cause so much smoke. So you can slowly cook the green beans like this and just keep stirring and moving the green beans around. Or if you are impatient, like I am, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of water and put the lid on. And we're gonna let that steam for about 4 minutes until they're tender. All right, let's take a look. We want all the water to be gone. So let that burn off a little bit more. All right, so turning off the heat so I can remove the green beans. And we don't want that extra water. So if there's any left, just strain it. There's just a little bit of liquid left. I'm just gonna dry that up because I don't want it. So making this at home, I paid $4 for the green beans, which I think is a little bit much, but that's okay. We're gonna well, my mom grows her green beans in the summer, so I'm gonna steal some from her this summer. And $3 for the ground pork. So $7 for this dish. Plus, if you already have the sauces at home, I don't know, 50 cents for all the sauces. You can't beat the price. I'm turning my wok back on to a medium high. And I have about half a pound of pork. I'm just gonna add that. Just ground pork. I'm just gonna let it sear on one side before moving it around. I'm just flattening it out. Flip it over to the other side. This just adds extra flavor. All right. Start moving it around. We want to cook this until it's no longer pink. I'm just going to push it off to the side. See if we can get any oils to come down from the fatty pork. And if there's not enough, I'm going to add another tablespoon of oil, cooking oil, and then we're going to add our garlic and ginger, and also my dry chili. So I've removed all the seeds already from inside because I find that that's where the spiciness actually comes from. And I'm using 5 of them because I think when I remove the seeds, they're not that spicy. So I'm gonna add a little bit more today, but again, you can use as little or as much as you like. If you don't have whole chilies like this, you can use like the crushed red chili flakes, or you can even use chili oil like the lauganma that we like to use to add extra hot heat to the dish. Okay, adding our sauce and our green beans back in. It'll only take another minute or so, not even 30 seconds, and we're done. Does that look amazing or what? And look at how easy it was to make at home. 10 minutes. Also adding about a teaspoon of sesame oil, just for that extra aromatic. And we add sesame oil at the end because if you cook with it, it just kind of burns off, so there's no point of that. All right, look at how much food, guys. Are you all ready for?
Dude, this is the taste, and this is a bowl of massive flavor for way less than the restaurant. I think this would be like, I don't know, 20 plus dollars for this plate of beans. When we go out, because as a basic veg that the kids like or everyone likes, lots of flavor, and it's easy to eat. With inflation, you gotta make it at home, and once you get through to the basic ingredients to have at home, and Flo mentioned having the sauces on hand, just rock it like any day of the week, and you will realize that, wow, I spent how much money on these beans? Let's get into this. All right, so a couple of beans, some pork. Get that, even with these 2 pieces, got the wok hay aroma going. You got some charring going on. I don't know if you guys can see that. The initial charring from the wok, that hot wok. So you got that wok hay-ness. All right. Maintains that crunch. So overcooking it would be a travesty. It would be just mushy beans. Nice flavor. I'm not detecting too much of the spiciness here, but there's that freedom of upping the heat level using multiple ways. Don't use chili sauce, use chili oil. The sauce in with the pork, very nice. And just a good dish to have. You gotta do it.
Awesome, thanks, dude.
Go.
So simple to make at home and a total money saver. You gotta try it out. For the updated recipe, check it out on my website, FLO'S.com.